Good morning, ma'am. Several employees greeted you as you walked down the hallway towards your office. You flashed a soft smile, acknowledging their greetings. Morning. You replied as your tone was polite but distant. You are the Chief Marketing Officer of J&K Enterprises, a top company in Seoul known for its innovative products. The employees admire you for your creativity and drive, but they also sensed the tension whenever you interact with the CEO. The CEO is no other than John Jungkook, your husband. Your marriage was arranged to merge two powerful families, but it had been anything but smooth. Jungkook and you often clash over your differing visions for the company. You reached your office, a spacious room with large windows offering a stunning view of the city. You sat your bag down and prepared for another busy day. Your thoughts were interrupted by a message on your computer screen. It was from your husband, who asked you to meet in the conference room in 15 minutes. You sighed and rolled your eyes but quickly gathered your materials and made your way to the conference room. This one seriously know how to piss anyone in seconds. When you arrived, Jungkook was already there reviewing documents. Morning, you said, taking a seat opposite to him while he finally looked up at you. Morning, let's get started. We have a lot to cover. Even though you guys are officially a married couple, yet no one can say that because you always maintain a professional image in the office, and since it was an arranged marriage, you both don't talk much at home also. The room filled with the sound of rustling papers and clicking laptops as you began the meeting. So, regarding the marketing strategy, he looked at you, your eyes met, but then he quickly shifted them to the laptop. I reviewed your proposal. It's good, but we need to focus more on social media. Our younger audience is crucial for this project. You nodded. I agree social media is important, but we can't forget traditional media. Our target market includes different age groups and we need a balanced approach. Jungkook leaned back, his eyes fixed on yours. Balance is important, but innovation sets us apart. Playing it safe won't get us the result we need. Your eyes narrowed. He was clearly mocking you. Innovation without a foundation can lead to mistakes. Remember the influencer campaign last quarter? We need a strategy that's both creative and solid. Jungkook's jaw tightened as you reminded him of his failure. That campaign was a risk, yes, but it taught us valuable lessons. I'm not saying we ignore traditional media, but we have to be bold. You bit your lower lip, trying to control your smile, and that was enough to piss him off. He hates when you don't take him seriously. Why do you always have to be so difficult? He snapped, frustration creeping into his voice while you looked at him with calm look. You know that he gets more frustrated when you're calm and don't respond the way he wants you. Why do you always have to be so arrogant? There was silence for some time in the room. He sat back on the chair exhaling, trying to control his anger. For someone who talks so much about results, you sure have a lot of failures under your belt. And for someone who prides himself on innovations, you sure recycle a lot of old ideas. You stood there glaring at each other, the air between you charged with unresolved tension, a mixture of professional rivalry and something deeper, more personal. Finally, Jungkook broke the silence, his voice low but firm. This isn't getting us anywhere. Let's take a break. You nodded, your pulse racing. Fine, but we need to finalize this by tonight. As you turned to leave, Jungkook's voice stopped you. Wait, he said softer this time. You paused, glancing back at him. For a brief moment, the hardness in his eyes softened, replaced by something unreadable. I know you put a lot of work into this. I just want us to succeed. Your expression softened slightly, but the barrier between you remained. I know, and we will. But we need to find a way to work together, not against each other. He nodded while you left. There was something in this marriage. You guys don't want to accept it, but not planning to leave it. Jungkook sat back on the chair and massaged his temples. This woman is complicated as hell. Arrogant and mean, he scoffed. Does she not see herself? Jungkook leaned back, staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of his conflicted feelings. He respects your intelligence and drive, but the constant clashes were wearing him down. Despite the tension, there was an undeniable pull between you two, a connection that neither of you fully understand. After the tense exchange in the conference room with Jungkook, you return to your office, your mind buzzing with a mix of frustration and reflection. His words echoed in your head, his accusations of arrogance and your retorts about recycling ideas. It was the same cycle of conflict you seem unable to break. Sitting at your desk, you stare out of the window, the city lights twinkling in the darkness. Despite your constant clashes, there was an undeniable chemistry between Jungkook and you. Calls me difficult. Seriously, does he not know how difficult he himself is? After a tough day at work, Jungkook ended up at a nearby bar with his friends, unwinding with some drinks. The atmosphere was laid back, glasses clicking, and people chatting casually all around. Wow, after a very long time, we have gathered together like this, right? Man, I miss those old days, he said, gulping down his drink. Jungkook's life is more interesting than all of us. He almost forget us after marrying his favorite woman. They all laughed but stopped when Jungkook glared at them. His eyes were red because of heavy drinking. Mingyu patted his shoulder. Chill bro, we are just trying to lighten up your mood. Is everything okay? Jungkook gulped another drink and sighed. Things don't seem good. They are not, right? It's complicated. I don't know what to say. I mean, we both knew what we were getting into with the marriage, but lately it feels like we are just going through the emotions. His friends could sense the sadness in his voice. They all are well aware about your and his relationship. They have witnessed everything from the start, but they don't want to intrude on his privacy, so they don't talk much about it. Have you talked to her about it? Your feelings? Jungkook chuckled bitterly. Talked? We argue more than we talk. She's so distant, always has been. Even when we were kids, she kept her distance. It's like she doesn't care. His words carried a weight of years of unspoken longing and frustration. Jungkook had loved you since childhood, admiring your intelligence and determination from afar. But your relationship had always been one-sided, with you maintaining a cool distance that he couldn't reach. In all these years, I have never stopped wanting her to love me. Jungkook admitted softly, his gaze distant as memories flashed through his mind. He only acts cold in front of you because you never care about his feelings. His friends listened in silence, sensing the depth of his emotions. They knew Jungkook as a strong and confident leader, but underneath it all, he was just a man yearning for love. You love her, don't you? He asked while Jungkook looked at him and let out a weak chuckle. I do. I always did. But my efforts remains one-sided always. I don't even know if she will ever want me. His friends can see how heartbroken he is. Okay, fine. I have a challenge for you. All turned their faces towards him, giving a confused look. What challenge? Mark looked at Jungkook. How about this? We dare you to do something that will make Ryan cry. Jungkook's brows furrowed in surprise. Make her cry? Why would I want to do that? Not in a bad way, of course. It could be something touching like a heartfelt gesture that brings tears of joy. Jungkook leaned back. You want her to hate me even more? Don't see it that way. I mean, it's not a bad idea. You can actually do something that can bring tears in her eyes. Tears of happiness. Tears of happiness. Bro, she's cold as ice. Mark got up. Then you should melt that ice. Come on, you are a man. You can do this. Don't just hurt your feelings by loving her secretly. She should know that, and if she's still like that, you should move on. Jungkook's heart dropped when he said that he should move on. Forget it, I'll do it. Challenge accepted. His friends smiled looking at each other. You lowered your phone and tears dropped from your eyes. The conversation with your mother you just had echoed painfully in your mind. She told you that how you are the one making everything complicated, how you don't want to see things the way they are. Jungkook doesn't hate you. In fact, she said that he's not the problem in your marriage. It's you. There have been times when he went to them heartbroken, crying his heart out about how much he loves you. He tried to so hard, but you are the one keeping your distance. The words had cut deep, exposing the reality you had been avoiding. Jungkook had always been there, trying to break through your walls, while you had been too proud, too stubborn to let him in. You were not ready for this reality check. Your heart felt heavy and you couldn't stop your sobs anymore. You burst into tears, clenching your shirt around your chest. So in the end, I turned out to be the evil once again. You grew up in a household where love was conditional. Your parents were highly critical and emotionally distant, valuing success and discipline over affection and understanding. This upbringing left you with a deep-seated fear of vulnerability and overwhelming need to protect yourself from emotional hurt. When you and Jungkook were children, you often saw him as someone who effortlessly received love and support from his family, something you deeply envied but couldn't understand. As you both grew up, Jungkook's natural charm and success seemed to highlight your own insecurities. You develop a tendency to distance yourself from people, fearing rejection and protecting yourself from potential pain. When your families arranged your marriage, you saw it as an opportunity to prove your worth. However, old habits die hard, and your deeply ingrained fear of vulnerability made it difficult for you to open up to Jungkook. Every time he tried to get close, you subconsciously pushed him away, fearing that he would eventually see your weaknesses and leave you. Jungkook's consistent attempts to connect with you felt threatening because they challenged the emotional walls you have built over the years. Instead of seeing his efforts as genuine, you perceived them as attempt to control or criticize you, similar to your parents' behavior. This misunderstanding fueled your cold and distant behavior towards him. Deep down you loved Jungkook, but the fear of getting hurt again kept you from showing it. It was easier to maintain a facade of indifferences and protect your heart than to risk opening up and potentially facing rejection. Your pride and ego became your defense mechanisms, preventing you from fully embracing the love that Jungkook had always offered. The office was empty, so you cried your heart out, fearing no one. You have been keeping all this pain and insecurities inside you. Now they were coming out without a reason. You become an enemy with your own husband. After wrapping up everything, Jungkook was going towards the elevator when he noticed that the lights of your office were on. Today he planned the whole day what to do to complete that dare. You haven't seen each other much except a meeting. Jungkook came in front of your office door. His heart dropped when he heard your cries. He peeked inside and saw that you were actually crying. His heart melted. Unable to hold himself back, he opened the door and came inside. Ryan, You startled by his sudden appearance. You quickly tried to wipe your tears, avoiding to look at him. He walked inside. What are you doing here? He walked closer while his expressions were soft. He looked hurt seeing you crying. I saw the lights on and heard you crying. Are you okay? You shook your head. I'm fine. Something went in my eyes, that's it. He chuckled, making you look at him. Don't try to lie when you know you can't. It's okay if you're not feeling well. You can talk to someone always. You can talk to me as well. You know we are not just business partners but always husband and wife. You looked away. And what good does it do to talk to you, Jungkook? I always end up being the evil one. No matter what I do, it seems like I'm the problem. Jungkook understood that something has happened. He came behind you. Just because you look like a Hitler and sometimes extremely stubborn when it comes to listen others, especially me. Other than this, you are not evil. You turned towards him, tears in your eyes. Do you love me? You really do? Jungkook's heart dropped when you suddenly said that. You came near him, searching for answers in his eyes. I thought you hate me for who I am. I never listen to you. I'm always annoying. No, I'm always difficult. I always ignored you since childhood. I was jealous of you. And you still went to my parents' place and cried there? Jungkook's eyes widened. He lowered his eyes. He didn't want to do that, but one day after you guys had a heated argument over something very small, he felt so hurt and drunk until he passed out. Your brother went to that bar when he saw Jungkook. He brought him to your parents' house and that day Jungkook cried his feelings out. I'm sorry, that wasn't intentional. I was drunk. So I'm the one pushing you away. Am I the problem? You look so vulnerable at this point. You wanted to tell him your feelings, but it wasn't easy. You never learned to do that. Jungkook took a deep breath, his heart aching at the sight of your tears. You are not the problem. We both are. We have both let our past and our pride get in the way, but that doesn't mean we can't change things. He stepped closer, reaching out to gently wipe away your tears. I love you, Ryan. I've loved you since we were kids, even when you were distant, even when you were cold. I saw the real you underneath all of that, the strong, determined, and caring person you are. I just wish you could see that too. You stared at him surprised. The depth of his feelings and his honesty caught you off guard. You, you really love me, even after everything. Yes, I love you, Ryan. Not despite everything, but because of everything. We have both made mistakes, but we can work through them together. Come on, you were always the woman of my dreams. I can at least be this much when I get you. He felt so overwhelmed and hugged him. Jungkook was surprised. His heart skipped a beat when you hugged him. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I will try to make it up for. I will try to be the best wife and life partner. He smiled and caressed your back. I would love to see that. But remember, you are already perfect. I still love you and will forever. He broke the hug and made you look at him. I will not disappoint you, I promise. He smiled. I believe you. And then you experienced your first kiss with him, full of love and respect. He pressed his lips against yours and deepened the kiss when you allowed him. You realized that you were running away from things that were meant for you, all the happiness that were in your destiny. Just because your past was not good, you were betraying your present and future. But with Jungkook, you realized that he was the one for you from the very beginning.